Hi, I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. We're going to have to be quick today, Gino, because I got a lot going on.
All right, what do you got going on?
We're having a internal session with our consultants about the island home from 11 to 3. So much for, getting anything done today.
You mean it's all going to be taken care of at 3 o'clock today? We'll know what's going on.
All going to be taken. No. But we'll have more of an outline of a plan, I think. That'll all get out into the public very shortly.
Is that, when you bring people together, is that from all walks of life too?
Well, no, this is just internal. But what we've done is we have hired a consulting firm, which I have hired months ago to do something else, to look at basically, how can I describe this easily? Right now, the island home is what's known as an institutional model of operation. It's a very traditional model. However, federal and state funding is now encouraging what's more called, alternative models to the institutional model. So the model we are looking at is called the small house model. And it's a different setup physically at the nursing home, which means different staffing and different duties and things like that. So what we're looking at is, what is the long-term financial impact of that? Will it be more expensive? Will it be cheaper? Will it be about the same? So the Board of Selectmen months ago wanted to understand that better before they put forward a project. So we're meeting with the consultants today to start hashing out what this alternative model in detail would really look like. And so it's going to take a while.
So when you say small house, are we talking like tiny house?
No, not tiny house. It's just a term where your facility is in sort of, I guess, for lack of a better term, small houses. So they're sort of clusters of units that have, I'm making up a number now, like 10 rooms in it. And then a central kitchen and in there, a central kitchen and living area, and then sort of in the middle of the whole thing. So you say you got your 5, sometimes they call them pods. I know people don't really like that term. So let's call it a house for now. So you've got, say, 4 or 5 houses with 10 rooms in each and a living space, living room area and kitchen in each. And then you have a bigger central living room that everybody in all houses can go to. But each house also has its own thing. So this is a model that's been developed and has become much more the norm than the institutional model. If you were building a new nursing home today, you would not build the institutional model. You'd build,
which is what we have.
Which is what we have. You'd build either a small house or some other model. I don't know what they're called. I don't know that much about it.
We'll have, as this progresses, we'll see images, artists' renderings.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the other models are more home-like rather than institutional. It's better for the senior citizens who are in there, the residents. It's less expensive. So that's awesome. My understanding anyway. Anyway, so that's today. So at the Selectmen's meeting last night, we had a fairly quick meeting, but we did cover quite a bit. And I'm just going to go over the main stuff, not every little thing. Our solid waste consultant, George Aronson, was in updating us on estimated disposal costs if we were to ship our solid waste off island. We've started to have this discussion. Not like that's going to happen immediately or ever, but it's a discussion that's going to start happening as we are looking towards the end of the contract with the current landfill operator, which is 2025. It's a ways off, but not really for planning purposes. So we're starting to look at alternatives. Are we going to renew the contract? Are we going to go out to bid again? Are we going to run it ourselves? Are we going to ship off? There's a lot of things to consider, and there's a lot of cost involved. So we want to be really clear on what we're doing and that we've understood all of the cost alternatives. So
you wouldn't be making those decisions now,
though. No, not decisions now. Just research.
Is going to progress.
Technology is progressing. We want to do the research now and just have a general understanding of ways in which to deal with our solid waste. What's it going to cost? How is it going to affect us? That kind of thing. So we had a bit of discussion about that. We also updated the board on the town's capital improvement plan for fiscal years 18 through 27. Focus much more on 18. In fact, really, it was mostly 18. We have a 10-year capital improvement plan, and every year around this time, we review it with the board to see what's changed. There are some additional projects in for fiscal 18, including the $80 million Mattocket Sewer project, if it passes, the Island Home, and a few other things that have changed from the current plan. And the finance director also had what the tax rate impact is if all of the projects that are in for fiscal 18 were approved, and that is online. It's for a rough numbers here, for a $1.7 million home without the residential exemption, it's something like roughly $400 something. So for 125 million-ish worth of capital projects, and this is without alternative funding sources, this is if we borrowed the whole thing, if you didn't have the residential exemption, it would be about a $400 or so hit on your tax bill if you had a $1.7 million property. That might sound like a big number, but if you compare that to other places, it's
But if it keeps
minimal.
going up every month, $400,
If it
every
keeps,
year, $400.
yes, now
then
it
you got a
wouldn't,
problem.
that's true, and it wouldn't be 125 million annually either. Just as a little bit of a comparison, I was talking to the assistant town manager in Easton, Mass. recently, and he was doing a reference check on a vendor, and I always, when I get somebody on the phone like that, I like to try to talk to them about other town issues, and they had put forward, this might not be exactly correct in number-wise, but they were putting forward something like a $4 million operating override. I don't think it passed, but the estimated tax rate impact on the average taxpayer was about $400 or $500 for a $4 million project. We're talking about $125 million worth of projects, and that's a huge difference because their tax rate is so much more than ours.
When you tell that guy in Easton what our rate would be, how do they react?
I didn't even tell him that.
What do other people react to our tax
Yes,
rate?
they can't quite believe it. Now, our valuations are high, much higher than most other towns. But because the tax rate is so low, that doesn't necessarily correspond into a massive tax bill. For the higher valued properties, yes. But if there's a lot of information on the Department of Revenue website about this kind of thing, and you can compare our town to other towns. Now, we do have some fees that perhaps other towns do or don't have, sewer user fees, landfill user fees, things like that, but a lot of towns have those fees. Anyway, I'm not saying it's an apples to apples comparison by any means, but it's just another way to look at it. And I'm not saying to take it lightly either, because I know, a lot of people struggle. We also talked about the Milk Street bike path extension. We bid that project out recently, and the bids came in higher than the appropriation. We think we now understand why. There was an item in the bid that should not have been in the bid, granite curbing. We had already agreed we weren't going to put that in, which added a substantial amount to the bid. So we're going to take that item out, rebid, and hopefully stick to roughly the same schedule, which would be to get the project done over the fall and winter. Not done, started with clearing and hopefully a binder course of pavement, and then in the spring finish it off. God willing. That's what's going to happen. The board also talked about the timeline for the 2017 annual town meeting and set the date of the 2017 annual town meeting. It's going to be on a Saturday, April 1st. It's something of an unfortunate date, but maybe there'll be a lot of joking around that day.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. One of the selectmen said, Don said, everybody get your jokes ready. So it might be fun. It'll probably be fun.
Exactly.
The timeline will get posted to the website very shortly, and the warrant really basically is open now for citizen warrant article submittals until November 21st, and we will have a session with town council at some point, that'll be online as well, where a couple of sessions, which we've been doing, which no other town, by the way, does, so that if citizens want to consult with town council about their article, they can do that. What else did we do? Those were the big things that we did. Next week's meeting, we're going to, maybe one of the bigger things is we're going to be talking about the 4th of July fireworks and what date they will be held on. Right now, the recommendation seems to be to hold them on Sunday, July 2nd, very similar to what we did for 2016, because we want to make sure this party situation is really in hand and under control. The 4th this year is on a Tuesday, So Sunday the 2nd might be a good day, and then, you know, the holiday continues into the week with the 4th of July Main Street activities and the water fight and that kind of thing happening on the 4th, like it did this year. And so there'll be some discussion about that. The board is also going to be talking about a policy regarding, how can I easily say this? I probably can't. If the Madigan Sewer Project passes, and even for the Nantucket Harbor Shimo project that's already passed, we've had quite a few inquiries from citizens property owners who have installed innovative alternative septic systems. They're very costly systems, and their concern is, I've just installed this very costly system, and now a sewer line is going to be going by my house, and the town is going to require me to connect to it. Do I still have to connect within the required time frame, and do I still have to pay all of the town fees? So the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Health have been discussing this, and they both are going to be adopting policies that will give some relief to property owners in that situation. Exactly what that relief is, I'm not entirely sure, but it sounds like the Board of Health will be allowing some kind of a delay in the connection so that you could get more useful life out of your system. And the Board of Selectmen will, I think, be adopting a policy that would allow them to reduce or waive certain town fees if you are in a similar situation. So that's going to be coming up for discussion next week.
And can't those septic systems be tested so that, I mean, if
they're required to be tested on a regular basis anyway, but if they were, but this would be the specific innovative alternative, the IA system. So they're probably, I mean, never say never, they probably wouldn't be in a failure situation if that, it would be the concern. So
that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. We certainly don't want that. But anyway.
There are some out there that,
well,
I mean, he was just on Dan Drake's show.
Yes, but probably not the IA systems are failing.
Right,
it's
right.
Exactly. What's it called? The conventional system. All right, Gino.
Yeah.
That is it. So, you got anything?
Ooh, good big week next week. Big arts week on the island.
Oh, Arts Week?
That should be a lot of fun.
Yes, is it the Arts Festival?
Arts
I ought to know
Festival.
that. And Restaurant Week, is that this week?
I think that's going to be winding down, but it's going on.
Yes, okay. And Capital Program Committee starts its meetings next week.
Ooh.
They meet weekly until December to review all of the capital project requests in great detail. So they've got you, the citizen, in mind when they're reviewing these projects, believe me. Next week's weekend is Columbus Day weekend, long weekend.
You like that?
I do,
Oh, yeah.
I do like that. But it means you have to get more done that week.
Yeah, that's
fine.
next Monday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's next Monday. No, it's not next Monday, it's the Monday after. It's the 10th.
Right.
All right, thank you very much. See you next time.